Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully load our home directory. We load our logging page, right? Which is totally fine. Here, as I told you, after end of this course, you will get this total folder as a chat project, and there is all the theme. So I have already created that theme. That is, they have some of the images, they have some of the JS file, they have some of the CSS, and that is totally HTML and CSS related one of the project. So I have already designed this project, so that will be just like that. Okay, so I will not discuss about how to design this project. So it's very easy, or if you know a little bit that HTML and CSS, with this you can actually design this type of one of the project. So now our main functionality is to learn that Express.js. So now I want to discuss about our main functionality. Okay, so before I loaded our first route as for our home route as a logging route, so that will be just like that same. Now we have to apply for our another one as a user page. I want to load another index page, that means inbox page, right? So that is also another page in our view as the index and then users. Now let's do that work. Right now, first of all, I want to open that our users. So into this users area, that is our user route, right? So I want to create another file in our routes. The procedure will be just like that same. If you go to that routes, I want to create another new file and name it as a user route.js. Okay, I simply create it. Now everything I want to copy from our logging route. From the logging route, I copy it, and then here I paste it. Okay, so I simply paste it. So now that will be import that our Express. It should be import that router, and then internal inputs into the. We have to also declare another controller. So I want to better declare another controller as the users. Okay, users controller, and here we have to also get some of the data. Better first of all, I want to take it. I copy it. That is the users controller. So in our controller area, I want to create another new controller and name it as users controller.js. Okay, so simply created it, and now I want to copy everything from our logging controller. I copy it. Right now we don't need this. I close it, and now in our user controller here I paste it. So I want to create another get users, right? I name it as a get users, and this type of one of the function. Then here I want to load our which page. I want to load that view page will be as users, right? So that will be as users. This page will be loaded, and I make it as our title as users. Okay, users, and then chat application. Great. And now we have to export it. We have to export that name as a get users. Right, I simply export it. Now we have to take it in our user, that is user route. Into the user route, here we have to, I have already loaded our user controller, which is totally fine. That is in our controller folder, and now I pass it the name as a get users. Okay, so now that will be the get users. Here I want to pass that name as a get users. So that is our get users. I simply get it. Now we have to go to our app. Into this app area, now that is our logging router, right? So now I want to take another one that will be a constant, and I name it as users router. Okay, users router, that will be the required from our which place, that will be the same. From here we have to go outside. Here we have to go outside, and then that is our router. And into this router area, I have created that user router. So I simply loaded this user router. Okay, now I name it as a users router. So that will be as a users router, which is totally fine. And then our user router, I get that name as a user data. That is our controller. Into this controller area, that will be loaded this user, right? That is a view as a user. Now let's check this out. Our URL will be what? Our URL will be as a /user. Now if you click as a save all, I want to check the terminal is now successfully running. If you now go refresh it, and now if you want to access that /users, click as enter. Yes, you can see our another template is now successfully loaded. Great. Now our another one as inbox, right? For the inbox, our procedure will be just like that same. Right now I open it, so that will be as a /inbox, that is inbox router, right? I want to create this type of another router in our routers. You can see how much easy it is. As I told you, that is very easy. So I name it as a inbox router.js. So inbox router.js, I want to copy everything from our user router. I copy it, and now I don't need this, I close it, and now that will be as a inbox router. Okay, so into this inbox router it will be load that express router. I will have to create on the controller. I name it as the inbox. Okay, inbox controller. Now let's create this controller. I copy it now into the controller area. Create a new file, name it as inbox controller.js. And right now I copy everything from our users controller. I copy it, I close it, and now in our inbox controller I paste it. So into this inbox controller, our view file I want to load as a inbox, right? So that will be the inbox. So I make it as inbox. Okay, then that means this file will be loaded, and that will be as inbox. Okay, inbox, this type of one of the title I will pass, and from here I want to create one of the method name. Our method name will be as a get inbox. Okay, inbox. So that will be our get inbox. So from here I pass this method. From here I export this method as a get inbox. Now in our inbox router, here I want to name it as a get inbox, and also from here I pass it as a get inbox. Great. So here I also loaded that inbox controller. So now that should be get this data, and now in our app, into this app area we have to load it. Okay, I name it as a inbox router for the /inbox, right? I copy it, and then I want to name it as a constant will be as an inbox router, and then that will be as a require our which file, that will be the same location. Okay, so that means that is with the router, and I have created that inbox router. You can see it's now successfully suggested. Now that should be loaded. That's all. If you now click as a save all, and now if you want to access that inbox, that will be as an inbox, right? Now if we go to our inbox controller, now our view file will be rendered as an inbox. So that is our inbox. So now let's check this out. If you now go click as a refresh, and now want to access that inbox, click as enter. Yes, you can see it's now successfully loaded. Okay, it's now successfully loaded. Right now our inbox is loaded, user file is loaded, that is a /user, and logging our home is loaded. Great. So now I want to update our title. I have already passed some of the title. You can see for the inbox I passed that as inbox and chat application. So now if you want to visible it, if you go to our view, that will be just like that same. So I simply copy it because I named that same property. I copy it, and now there is another view as inbox. So here I want to update as a title. For the index I want to update this title. For the users I want to update this title. So now whatever the things I passed from our controller, now that should be executed. And now let's check this out. Click on the refresh. You can see it's now successfully updated as a logging chat application. For the user I pass it as a user chat application for the logging, and then inbox, and for the inbox it will be our inbox chat application. Great. Our title is now totally dynamic, right? I hope, friend, how can do that work, it's very much clear to you. So right now I want to make it as a clean. Okay, I make everything as a clean. I make it as a clean. So now if you want to update, like that is a title, and every time our chat application is the same. If you go to our inbox, you can see inbox, and then the chat application, there is a logging as a chat application. So I have passed everything from which place? I have passed everything from our controller. If you go to our logging controller, into the logging controller, you can see that is our title, and that is our title display. So we can actually minimize this code. Okay, we can actually minimize this code from to the router. That means if you go to our, for the logging, I have already created another router as a logging router. So from here we can actually pass it. Okay, so I show you, we can actually make it with, we've done this work with one of the middleware. So into the middleware and the commons, I want to create another new file, and I just name it as a decorator, decorate HTML, okay, HTML response.js. So this type of one of the file I simply created. And now into this area here, I want to create another middleware. Okay, so I want to create another, first of all, another function. So I simply loaded another function. I just name it as a same as a decorator. Decorate HTML response. Okay, a decorate HTML response, and here I want to pass one of the parameter as a page title. Okay, page underscore title. So this type of one of the parameter, I simply pass it. And now I want to return one of the functions. Return functions area. Here I want to return one of the functions. So that is a functions keyword, and here we pass that our middleware all that default, that is a request, it should be passed, right? And it should be passed that response, and also it should be passed that as a next. So I simply loaded everything in here. And now I want to access that our response, that is a response with the local data. So that will be the response locals, and that is HTML data, right? When that will be as a true, that means that is the one when it should be as a HTML file. When our HTML will be as a true, I want to do into the response with this locals. Into this locals area, I want to pass our one of the object as a title. Okay, here I want to pass it. I want to pass two of this data. I want to pass that our parameter. Okay, that parameter I have already loaded as a page title, but I use some of the backtick. And into this backtick, if you want to pass it, then that will be as a $sign, right? And then the curly bracket, and then our page title. I simply loaded that page title. Okay, page title, and here I want to use that on the hyphen. After that hyphen, I want to do, if you go to our env, into the env, I have already added that our name. You can see there is a chat application, that is our name variable as a app, that is app name. So I want to use this app name. Okay, it's very simple. So that will be again another $sign, and then the curly bracket, and then that if you want to access it, that will be as a process, right? Process.env, okay, process.env, and then our variable name as a app name. Okay, I simply loaded this app name in here. So that is one of the middleware. So also you have to do now, after that we have to pass it, right? We have to pass it with the next, that means next method we have to call it. Okay, now then that will be executed, and after that I want to export this. So that will be the module. Okay, module, so that will be module.exports. Module exports our name, I name it as a decoration HTML response. So I simply pass it. Okay friend, I hope every part is very much clear to you. So now globally we can able to access this middleware. Like if you want to access it in our logging route, into this logging route I want to do from here I want to pass this data. Okay, here I want to pass this data. So for the first time we have to import it, right? So that will be the constant, and I export it from here as a text, that is a decoration decorate HTML response. So here we have to take it as our decorate HTML response, and then that will be as a require. Okay, that will be as a require, and our file location in our which place, that will be in our middleware, right? From here we have to go outside, and then that is our middleware. Into this middleware, that is our common folder. Into this common folder, and I have created this middleware. So I simply loaded this one. Okay, so now with this decorate HTML response, here now I want to declare it. Okay, I simply declare it, and also after that I pass one of the parameter as a page title. So now we are able to access this page title in here. So I want to do, I name it as a logging. Okay, so now that should be as a logging, and then the comma. Great. So right now in our controller area, from to the controller, before I pass it, if you go to that logging controller, you can see before I pass it with this title. So right now here we don't need to pass anything. I simply want to remove it. Okay, so from here I simply loaded only our view page. So now there is view page as an index. Okay, and everything I have already passed from our router, that means our router, from to this router I pass our logging. So now that should be get our parameter. So in our middleware, that is our common middleware, and into this middleware that will be display our this page title. Page title will be as a logging, and then that will be as a hyphen, that means one of the dash, and then our process env app name. So in our env, our app name as a chat application. So now that should be display these things in here. It's now very much professional and very easy. For now I want to update the same things for our rest of this. Like I want to save all, and now that is a logging, we don't need this. And now if you go to our another controller, and another controller as inbox, so also from here we don't need to pass this title like that way. I only want to load that our view file as an inbox. Okay, because the save all, right now we don't need this, and also we don't need this controller. Another controller as users controller. Here also I want to clean it. Okay, I clean this code right now, which is totally fine. Now click at the save all, great. And now if you right now we don't need this our users controller, I close it, and now in our logging controller, right, like that way we have to pass everything, right? So better I copy it, and now that is another router as a inbox. So into this inbox area I want to pass it as our, first of all I want to call our decoration HTML, and then that will be as a for which one, that will be for the inbox, right? So that will be the inbox, and here that will be the inbox page. Okay, inbox page, which is totally fine. And then that will be the get inbox, great. And now we have to also load it, that will be same. I copy it, and then I want to paste it, great. Now I simply declare it in here. So now that will be the inbox and then our app name, great. And now also we have to load another one as users. So into this users here also we have to first of all paste it, and then we have to load it. I simply copy it, and now in our users that will be the same, our modular name, math function name, and then that will be as users, right? Users, and then get users, great. Now if you look at the save all, and now if you refresh it, everything is working perfectly. You can see there's a logging, there is a users, and then there is a inbox, great. So I hope friend it's very much clear to you how to deal with it. So you can choose whatever the things you like, so you can choose it like that way. There we just simply create another common middleware, and with this middleware you can deal it, rather than you can also deal it in a previous system. So I hope it's very clear to you. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.